is not being produced anymore. They started a plant worth $60 million, and it's sitting idle because of the tariffs imposed by our friends to the south. This is what we are doing to our own companies. We are not supporting them, we are not helping them, and we are doing everything to stand in their way of progress. These are companies that add value to the resources coming from Quebec, and yet here we are debating what we're going to do about electricity. It's a great question. Yes, we are here to support their electrification of the entire planet, if I could help it. But what are we going to do about all these plants that are consuming products that they make, and we are not helping them? What are they prepared to do to help aluminum extrusion plants in Ontario?
Questions and comments. Questions et commentaires. The honourable member for Cloverdale, Langley City. But before the member goes, I just want to remind members, Standing Order 16.2 still applies. You can't cross between the speaker and the person who's about to speak. I invite the member to ask her question or make her comment.
After years of failed EV mandates to the tune of 52...
Again, I just mentioned that there's a Standing Order 16.2. You cannot cross between the speaker and the member who is about to speak. So just another reminder to members. The honourable member for Cloverdale, Langley City.
After years of failed EV mandates to the tune of $52 billion in subsidies from Canadian taxpayers, the government now wants to spend another $2.3 billion to boost sales of cars Canada doesn't build. Fact is, nearly all previous rebates went to vehicles manufactured outside Canada. If the goal is to strengthen our auto sector, why is subsidy money going to support American factories instead of Canadian workers? How will this help the 5,000 families who've lost their jobs in the auto sector?
The honourable member for Windsor West in under 30 seconds.
Thank you for that question, Mr. Speaker. Another great question, and this is not going to help anybody, Mr. Speaker, except Mr. Trump and Trump's America. It is not going to help Canadians. It's not going to help the workers that have been laid off, and there's more than 5,000 workers. There's other workers, like I mentioned, Canart Extrusion Company in Windsor. They've laid off 250 people because they don't have the work anymore. And there's multiple companies like that that have lost employees, or they have laid off people because they don't have the ability to keep them because of these mandates.
Resuming debate. Reprise de débat. L'honorable chef de...
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition, official opposition.
And I understand we're leading 4-0 in the big game today, and we are truly Team Canada, as you can see, with the beautiful jersey right behind me. And Mr. Speaker, imagine if we could be Team Canada when it comes to automotive purchases and production. Imagine the satisfaction you'd have if you drove your new car off the lot knowing that not only did you get a great price for a great automobile so that you can do your full-time job as a chauffeur taking your kids to their hockey games, but that every penny from your purchase went to support Canadian workers, to put food on the tables of Canadian families, buying Canadian steel, Canadian aluminum, Canadian plastic, and Canadian assembled automobiles. That is the mission. That is how we make our country affordable, safe, and strong. We must reindustrialize our country. We must unleash the production of steel, aluminum, plastic, minerals, and other production for which we should have a massive natural advantage. That would then, and only then, Canadian paychecks would grow. Then, and only then, Canada would be affordable and autonomous. Then, and only then would we restore the industrial powerhouse that used to characterize the Canadian economy. We have a plan as Conservatives to bring about that industrial powerhouse and the affordable made in Canada vehicles that I just described. It's a plan for quick permits, low-cost energy, and low taxes to make this the biggest and most open economy anywhere in the world in which to produce, to make, to fix, to move, to dig, and to deliver for Canadian consumers. We have the resources and the workforce that no other country can match, and yet, after 10 years of Liberal government, we've had the worst economic growth in the G7, the worst productivity, and the worst investment track record. $500 billion of net investment has fled our country for the United States of America as liberal taxes and anti-development policies drive investors stampeding out of our country. Automotive production under this Liberal government has fallen by half, from roughly 2.2 million cars a year to 1.2 million. And all of that happened while the present-day Liberal finance minister was actually the industry minister. The new government looks an awful lot like the old government. But this Liberal prime minister promised that he would be different. But here we are a year later, and what do we have? There have been grand speeches, announcements, signing ceremonies of unenforceable declarations, but it's all an illusion. Look at the results. He promised to negotiate a win with the U.S. by July 21st. Still no win, still no deal, still no jobs. He promised that we'd have the strongest growth in the G7. Our economy is now shrinking, according to Bloomberg. He promised affordable food, but grocery prices are now rising faster in Canada than in any other G7 country. Real GDP in automotive manufacturing has fallen 10% in November. He promised auto jobs. He's lost 5,000 of them. In fact, manufacturing is down 37,000 jobs since he took office, promising to make Canada strong. 5,000 of those jobs are in automotive production. We've seen 3,000 job losses in Brampton, where I had the, I want to say, the honor of standing in the rain with the great Unifor workers locked out of their facility. 1,200 at the GM Cami plant, 500 at GM's plant in Oshawa, 725 at Paccard au Québec. Sure, we can blame President Trump's unfair tariffs, and we do. But the question is, what are we doing about what we can control? Because as the Prime Minister said, and he's right on this point, no one can control what President Trump does or says. So I agree with the Prime Minister, but what we can control is what we do on this side of the border. And here's what this Prime Minister's response is. He wants to take $2.3 billion away from Canadian taxpayers, including Canadian auto workers, and spend it on a subsidy that goes exclusively to foreign-made, especially American-made cars. So while President Trump tariffs our automobile sector, this Liberal Prime Minister subsidizes the American auto sector. Now, let's be very clear. Liberals are claiming that somehow the rebates will be used for Canadian automobiles. Well, here are the facts. In 2023, under the previous Liberal EV rebate program, pretty much the same as the one we have now, 99% of the subsidies went to foreign-made EVs. 31% went to the US, 25% to China, 19% to Japan, 16% to South Korea, 1% to Canada. Let's be clear. Only 1% of EVs purchased in Canada are made in Canada. And that is after $52 billion of taxpayer subsidies for the EV supply chain. It doesn't seem to matter how much this Liberal government throws away in handouts and subsidies, they cannot turn those dollars into enough production to satisfy even a tiny fraction of the Canadian marketplace. Now Liberals say, that's the present, but look to the future. That too is an illusion, Mr. Speaker. Here's the reality. EV purchases are in free fall. Between December of 2024 and November of 2025, the market share of EVs in Canada plummeted almost by half, from 18% to 11%. Canadians are buying vastly fewer electric vehicles. In dollar terms, the sales have decreased in that period of time by 37%. That is absolute free fall. In fact, the reality is that if you were trying to predict the future, and by the way, I don't believe that governments are able to do that, but if you were looking simply based on the trajectory, it is clear that electric vehicles are not on track at this time to overtake the market, not even close. Our conservative approach allows the free market to decide which vehicles get purchased. Let consumers choose what they want to buy. And we know that they will be biased in favor of the lowest price and the highest quality, and those vehicles happen to be, in many cases, Canadian-made internal combustion vehicles. Hear, hear. That's the reality. And we have a plan to make sure that the maximum amount of content in those vehicles is made by our Canadian workers. We're going to re-industrialize Canada. We're going to make this into an industrial powerhouse, Mr. Speaker. And yes, we're going to make it possible for you to buy that car and know it goes to Canadians. Because, you know, it drives me crazy to think of the laid-off auto worker who's looking at his severance right now. 50% of it gone in tax, withholding tax, knowing that his tax dollars will subsidize the very American-made vehicles that are made in a country that's tariffed him out of a job. He doesn't have to live like that. We have a plan. We will unleash Canadian production. We'll take the GST off Canadian-made automobiles, saving you $2,500 on a Canadian car. This would include, for example, the Chrysler Pacifica, the Chrysler Grand Caravan, the Dodge Charger, the Toyota RAV4, the Lexus NX, the Honda Civic, the CR-V, the numerous Ford products, the Chevy Silverado, and many more. We'll get rid of the industrial carbon tax on Canadian steel, aluminum, and plastic to make it with Canadian steel. We'll get rid of the capital gains tax on reinvestments in Canadian auto plants. We will end the new liberal fuel tax so that we can move our parts around more quickly and economically, because low-cost energy is the key to reindustrializing our country. These are solutions, positive ideas to make Canada an incredible industrial powerhouse where patriotic Canadians can save money and save jobs at the same time, and where Team Canada not only wins out on the ice, but wins at the auto dealership, that wins on our streets, that wins in our factories. Canada first, Canada always.
Questions and comments? Questions et commentaires. The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Industry.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Our auto strategy associates itself with stronger emission standards that are the prevailing in California and prevailing in Europe, and is part of a strategy that will decrease our dependence on internal combustion engines, increase our adoption of electrification, and is good for the environment and is good for the climate. Not in the motion, but in the debate, we now hear that the Conservatives are opposed to California-style emission standards. That, incidentally, is the position of the U.S. administration, which is now saying it doesn't want any emission standards whatsoever. So my question to the Leader of the Opposition is he in support of California-style, European-style, and Canadian emission standards, or no emission standards?
The Honourable Leader of the Official Opposition.
We're in favor of Canada. Hear, hear. And that means low-cost energy. I don't want high-priced European or Californian taxes on consumers and industry. That's how you kill jobs. That's how you make people poor. Europe is rapidly running away from the radical net zero agenda that the member just talked about. The Germans tried it. They're having to reverse themselves completely because they're being shut down. The English, for example, in the United Kingdom, they realize that high-priced electricity, because of these same radical net zero policies that the Prime Minister has embraced and written about, are impoverishing the working class and deindustrializing society. So no, we don't want any of these foreign policies he wants to impose. We want a Canadian policy to reindustrialize and make Canada affordable and autonomous. Hear, hear.
Good
Questions
answer.
and comments? Questions et commentaires. L'honorable député de Pierre Boucher.
The Honourable Member for Pierre Boucher, Les Patriotes Verchères. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In the motion, I noticed that in Clause C, the Leader of the Official Opposition is asking for the government to reduce taxes on severance payments to workers laid off by GM. Well, that seems like a very generous idea. So given that he says that he wants to support Canada and workers, why didn't he think about all the workers at PACCAR who lost their jobs in Sainte-Thérèse? Why is he ignoring them? And my second question, Alberta produces oil. Quebec produces electricity. In fact, Quebec is the biggest market for EVs in Canada. Does the leader of the opposition understand that his motion is an attack on the electrification of transport and that Quebecers care about EVs and that, in fact, the leader of the opposition is attacking Quebec here? I'd like to thank the member for his question, but not for his research, because he made a mistake. We didn't say that when it comes to the payments for people who were laid off, we said that we should not be withdrawing that money at the very beginning of the year, forcing the workers to wait a year before getting that money. The problem is that when someone gets a lump sum payment when they lose their job, is that people end up in a much higher tax bracket. So they end up seeing a lot of that money being clawed back, and they have to wait 14 months to get the money back. So we are saying that workers should be able to keep that money, and then they'll be able to get by better. That's my first point. And then on the second point, the member has lost touch with the regions of Quebec where people care about their gas-powered trucks. We care about Quebec consumers, and we think they can decide for themselves without subsidizing American cars.
Questions and comments? Questions et commentaires. The honourable member for Windsor West.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, workers in Windsor, Canada's automotive capital, are being hit by unjustified U.S. tariffs, while Liberal subsidies and Canadian tax dollars are paying for American-built cars. And investment is leaving Canada. Can the Leader of the Opposition explain how Canada First considered a plan ending subsidies for foreign-made vehicles and cutting the GST on Canadian-built cars?
All right, we're going to move on over to something else here. Do we have enough time for it? Most likely.
This is exactly what you'll expect to see in downtown Vancouver, where drug addicts are limping around sideways as their days blend together using potent opioids, making them fade in and out of the real world. Hey, don't fall over, don't fall over. It might possibly be the country's biggest war zone, where drug addiction, violence, poverty, and an extreme mental health crisis all collide in an area of downtown where everyday citizens are held hostage by the fear of unpredictable drug users and violent criminals who hold down the street corners.
No, get that thing out of my face. Get it out of the fucking...
It's not on your face, just relax, bro.
You're gonna get that smell.
Alright, they're throwing food at us.
Camera off.
Alright, bro, we're leaving.
Smacked or what?
The police are down there. Relax, hey! And the people here really don't like being recorded. That's why I brought Will, a licensed personal security guard and former safe injection site worker in Ottawa, to keep me safe and make sure I don't get stabbed walking around here with a camera.
Right now, we're actually coming up on East Hastings Street, but just before we go there, we're walking into a pharmacy store.
So pharmacies in Canada tend to give out Narcan for free. There's two, there's nasal and there's IM, intramuscular.
Let's check
That is true. They do give it out for free. That is very true.
these out. So we got taxpayer funded, Narcan, naloxone kits, and what does it come with?
A bunch of needles, and then you actually have the naloxone right here.
Okay. Let's go back outside. We've got these with us now. Hit the camera off because we're not supposed to be recording in here.
There's a lady wrapped in a garbage bag.
Correct. So what she's doing right there is taking her medication, breaking it up, and then adding a water solution, which she will then pull into a needle and then inject.
Okay, so they're actually making oral medication injectable.
Correct. Yep.
Okay, is that to make it longer lasting, acts faster?
The high is unbelievable.
Okay.
They'll pick up that little tin bowl and they'll light it, right? Yeah. With the water and the pill, it'll get it hot. Look, just right here, that's meth.
Yeah, there's a meth pipe on the ground right here. Y'all good?
Get up. I'm gonna Narcan.
Security is just here, not really doing their job. Come on, security. This is your building?
Wow. My God, security is useless. Security just stands there while a guy's ODing out front of the door. That is insane. But what's the point of having security?
Narcan, bro. Narcan won't help get speed.
Narcan won't work on speed?
No, you need like a barbiturate or like yeah, you need something to bring you down, like
a downer, basically?
Yeah, I don't think Narcan will work.
You said it was speed, right? But he's got a heroin.
I think you need an EpiPen for speed. I'm not.
No, not an EpiPen. EpiPen is for allergy.
Outreach worker pulled up. I think she's going to administer Narcan to this man, potentially.
Can you not film?
It's just a journalist. It's for YouTube. It's fine.
People, their lives.
That's okay.
Confidentiality, man. And if you're asked not to, then don't. Hey, like, I don't want to threaten you. I'm trying to be diplomatic with you, man. But if you keep putting that camera in my friend's face, I'll take your camera and your microphone.
All right, bro. We don't need to threaten each other. We're all just
I'm trying to be
peace.
diplomatic.
All right. Thank you. We appreciate it.
I'll tell you again, okay? My friend asked you not to.
Okay.
So please,
Thank you
step
very much.
back.
We're walking away now, so it's no issues. We're going to be going. Thank you. Thank you. Outreach workers here doing their job. Got to respect these people out here doing this on a daily basis. I mean, this drug crisis is absolutely insane. Are you okay? Y'all good?
You okay? Are you okay?
It's like a zombie land, dude.
Absolutely, and you see how they're probably trained nurses, and look how they talk to us because we have a camera. And they said that we don't have morals when we were the first ones there. We noticed him. I started working security in 2019, just before COVID. I liked it, it was good, and then I ended up moving up and getting a use of force certification, which allowed me to carry a baton and handcuffs and a vest, and opened up a lot of employment opportunities, especially at safe injection sites and methadone clinics. People try to stab you with needles. They'll try and stab the doctor with needles, the nurse with needles, if they don't get the certain drug that they want prescribed or the certain dosage. It's just our job to mitigate that and protect the doctors and nurses, right? That's what we're there for. Now,
It should have never come to this. That's the bottom line. But a major lack of care, neglect, along with insane amounts of government funding, a band-aid solution, and there's obviously just people who don't want the help either and would rather be doing whatever the hell this guy was doing here. So at the end of the day, it really is up to the individual whether or not they want to get the help. You can't really force them to. You can put them, it's like you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make the horse drink the water, sort of thing. It's a sad reality, but a lot of these people either don't want the help, and if they go, they might not commit to it. And you end up dumping tons of money into this shit, and it actually just destroys families and livelihoods and everything, and it's absolutely horrible. And like I said, the government kind of just slaps a band-aid solution on it, creates these sites, and then funds. It's just crazy. The amount of shit these people have to go through, to the point where they have to hire security, and now the security guards are at risk, and it's, wow. It's not good. And Vancouver is the hotspot. Vancouver is probably one of the worst cities to live in all of Canada. I don't think there's a worse city. Maybe Toronto is comparable. I was there in Toronto late last year, and it was starting to get cold, so maybe that's why it wasn't as crazy, but I don't know. Nothing too bad was happening there. Vancouver, though, it's like a daily occurrence there. It's always bad there.
The doctor with needles, the nurse with needles, if they don't get the certain drug that they want prescribed or the certain dosage. It's just our job to mitigate that and protect the doctors and nurses, right? That's what we're there for. Now, what does help is Section 494 of the Criminal Code, which is what the average security guard will base his arrest under, and I think that's a great law. For example, anyone who is caught committing a crime, any individual, you have the right to arrest. You don't have to be police. You do not have to be somebody special. If you see someone committing an indictable offense, assault, whatever it may be, you have the right to go and place them under citizen's arrest. Guy started crying, he's hungry.
Oh, that's a sin. Yeah, there's a guy out there who's crouched down outside the store. We're gonna get him cigarettes and something to eat.
Hey, buddy.
We got a snack for you.
I got you something. It's not much, I know, but it should hold you over.
Do you want a cigarette too? Yes, yeah, we got you. You want to hold this? Yeah, no problem, no problem. He's just got to close the door there. How long you been out here, Kyle?
Almost about a year.
A year?
Yeah.
Okay. You look like a pretty young guy. How old are you?
28.
Damn, you look way younger than that.
I know.
All right, bro. So you grew up here in Vancouver.
Yeah.
Okay. And what led you to ultimately being on the streets out here? Do you have addiction issues out here?
Yeah. Yeah.
These drugs are strong, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right now, I gotta take it easy.
It's like mostly fentanyl in the drugs out here. Are you gonna be all right?
I can pull through. Pull through, yeah. You see, I have.
You good? You good? You good?
buddy? Yeah, eat the tart.
Yeah, make you feel better. What is it, like an apple pie type of thing?
Yeah, it's a tart. It's like a caramel tart.
Do you have much appetite out here?
Yeah. I eat a lot.
You eat a lot?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, it's good. We're gonna keep it moving, but it was really nice to meet you. You should,
Oh,
hey,
no.
yeah. Yes.
I'm trying to find myself again.
Yeah.
Do it, buddy. You're a smart guy.
I know I am.
You can't be dumb to be out here for 1 year. You gotta be smart. You gotta be strong.
So, what do we know about the back issues? You know, people are bent over. Is it because they fall asleep on the fentanyl, contorts their spine, essentially?
Basically. Yeah, you got it.
Can you imagine owning a store here?
Exactly.
Look at this.
Right. I feel bad for the owner.
What's that?
For example, this stick of wood right here,
Yeah.
this is meant to pack down the drug into a stem. That's what they'll use it for.
So it's paraphernalia in a way?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
even this too, like they'll wrap it around their arm. That's probably half of the cord, but they'll wrap this around their arm and inject.
I guess they're doing needle sweeps out here pretty often. I'd say every couple of hours. I mean,
Yes, and they reuse their own needles, which is not safe at all.
there's 2 cleanup crew guys here with the bins, all the tools.
Nothing about it is safe. Not one moment of it is safe, period. And that's another thing. They try and build this narrative and this idea that they're safe injection sites and that, oh, they're doing drugs safely. There's nothing safe about it. Not one single second of it. Like, the fact that they have to give out Narcan for free tells you everything you need to know. And it's countrywide.
Tools they need, the grabbers and the brooms. Can I ask you a question? How often is it that you could fill one of these yellow containers?
Usually it takes about a week or two.
A week or two to fill one?
Yeah.
And how many needles would you say that consists of?
I don't know, I'd say like 100 needles max.
Every block out here pretty much on Hastings?
Hastings is like, we get like 15 to 16 needles a shift.
Okay. And how long does the shift last?
Like 4 hours? Yeah.
Okay, it's good. You guys are doing good work out here. I just want to say thank you. Good job. Keep it up. Less needles than I thought, but when you actually put it into perspective that each needle is just somebody, you know, getting high for a few hours, it becomes more crazy.
Yeah, and they reuse the same needle over and over again. And I cannot bring a bulletproof. He tried, but it didn't work. This guy right here.
This guy?
This guy right here.
What are you doing? You just throw that at us?
I threw it. Buddy, I just saw you. Why are you lying?
I didn't throw it.
Why are you lying, bro?
I'm not lying. I didn't throw it.
All right. Are you
Why?
okay though?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Do you need help or anything?
What happened?
Throw an iced coffee at us or something?
No, I didn't throw anything.
Bro, you're right there, right behind the wall. You threw it. All right, no worries, man. It's all good. As long as you're doing okay. You're doing fine?
No, but I'm not lying.
All right. Have a good one, man.
How long you been out here?
7 years out here homeless now.
Okay.
7 years seems to be a long time.
It is.
It's going a long time, but you know, I mean, now that the city's been depleting itself every year, it's been getting worse and worse. But you know, having good friends around you.
Yeah.
It's important. But other than that, if it wasn't for my friends right now, I don't know how far I would have made it. Wouldn't made it this far. The same with the fact that the city has become the most expensive city in the world. You know, and the fact that the welfare system doesn't keep up with it. You know.
The real estate here is insane,
Yeah,
man.
insane.
How is anybody like paying to live?
That's the thing. You know, I mean, that period is expensive as it is. Just being
2.4 million for a post-wartime house. Yeah. Oh, my God. At this point, I mean, he blames it on the welfare system. Realistically, you don't want to be on the welfare system, but like, this is the real problem here. Nobody can afford anything. Vancouver is the most expensive city in the country. A post-World War II house should not cost $2.5 million. That is insane. That is insanity. My God, this house probably cost like less than, I would imagine, 500,000. Probably 20 years ago. There's no way this house is worth $2.5 million. Like, the inflation is out of control. The Liberal government spending out of control. Terrible policies out of control.
To live.
That's the thing. You know, I mean, that period is
2.1 million, and that's the kitchen. Ay, dude, this is horrendous.
as expensive as it is. Just being homeless is bottom line is we can't. You know what I mean? You got to live day by day.
Trying to ask the community out here, what's it like living in Vancouver?
Well, fairly shitty, I'd say, honestly. Like, there's no community. Everybody steals from everybody constantly in broad daylight. Nobody says a fucking word or does a thing about it. I mean, it's just pretty much as shitty as you can get.
Do you have to keep your circle small out here because of that?
There is no circle.
So even your friends or people you think would be your friends will still rob from you?
You don't have friends out here.
Okay.
You have to be 100% aware of that. Like, people will think they have friends, but they're the stupidest people that are out here.
Do you have anywhere you stay, a shelter or a SRO or?
You can stay at a shelter if you want.
Okay.
But they're overpacked and overjammed.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd rather be out here by myself with my friends.
Are the streets safer than the shelters oftentimes?
Sometimes, yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, yeah. You know, and if you're worried about any of your belongings, you know, I'd rather stay out here in my tent or wherever I am rather than in the shelter. So unfortunately, you know, getting your stuff stolen.
No one is your friend out here. Everyone wants to just steal your shit and be done with you.
How long have you been out here?
Long enough.
Long enough to know.
Long enough.
What about the cops, man? What do they do?
Go, man. They don't do shit. They don't care.
Yeah. Are they taking the wrong steps in trying to like clean up the streets here?
Yes and no, because I mean, they need to do something, but I mean, what they need to do is God only knows. This place has been this way for 30, 40, 50 years. I mean, how do you change something that's systemic?
Mm-hmm.
At that point, yeah, like you left it for 50 years and now you want it gone all of a sudden. That's not gonna happen overnight.
So are you homeless out here or you have like an SRO?
No, I'm homeless right now.
Okay.
Me and my dog. Don't get my message on.
Were you born and raised in Vancouver?
I was not.
Okay, where are you from?
Out east.
Me too, where are you from?
Montreal.
Okay, Montreal. You speak French?
Really?
Oh, wait.
What time do these streets kind of stay lively till? Is Hastings on the go until 4 a.m., 5 a.m.?
Easily, yeah. All night, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but especially on the weekends, Friday, Saturday, yeah, they're open all night.
People like to party, stay up, active.
That's it, yeah. And now with the more harder drugs getting more harder too, you know, it's like time can fly by, you know, and time's fly now. You know. 4 hours can just be like a blink of an eye and just out here. Easy to have one day run into the next. You know, you don't even realize you've been up for 4 days when you actually think about it. It's like, wow, I thought it was only one day. And now it's like, bro, you've been up for 4 days. So that can happen very easily.
What's it like being out here, man?
Today was alright because it's not very cold. It's a little mild, and so the libraries are open. So I spent most of my day at the library and just trying to stay out of trouble.
Okay. You stay warm at the library. Is that the number one reason you go there?
Combination. Sometimes that's not always the reason.
Okay.
That is the reason at times.
Okay.
And other times I go to email, whatever.
Okay. Talk to people on email or anything like that?
Yeah, not too many, but a few. Yeah.
And are you in contact with your family out here?
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
Okay.
Not as much as I'd like to be, but I do let them know that. Yeah.
Okay. So you have somewhat of a support system?
Somewhat. I've had much better in the past before, but
okay.
Somewhat, yeah.
And how long have you been out here?
In Vancouver, a few years now. Yeah.
Like 2-3 years?
Yeah, something around there somewhere.
Do you think if it weren't for the moderate climate here in the winters, that it would make being on the streets much more difficult?
Yeah, that was definitely the driving factor. Prior to here, I was in Calgary.
Oh, you were in Calgary?
It was cold there.
So you came out here to be homeless?
Yeah, I came out here to be warm. No, I got family out here.
Oh, you got family. Just asking the community really what it's like being out here. Talking to some people that don't have homes and whatnot, addiction issues, trying to document the reality of Vancouver. Is it hard being out here?
Retardedly. It's so hard as they... It's used to it, right?
The drugs are extremely potent and strong out here. Would I be right in saying that?
Hey, don't fall over, don't fall over.
Yeah, I would say you're right in saying that, buddy. I would never live in BC. Yeah, this is the heart of Vancouver. The drug crisis, homeless crisis, whatever the hell you want to call it. Everything is a crisis now, but this is like really bad. It's rampant in Vancouver specifically. And yeah, we're only halfway through. Got a little bit more of this to go. Got a Moose on the Loose video. And then we should have, I don't know if we're going to have question period, but we might. Looks like there's going to be some more statements based on what happened the other day. And we'll see what happens.
I'm just not myself right now.
No worries, man. Where do you stay? Do you have a tent or do you have like an SRO?
I got a penthouse down in the water.
You got a penthouse?
On the water over there. Yeah.
You're a homeowner?
Yeah. Shelters, man. There's lots of shelters here. I'm not a fan of them myself, but I'm not going to knock on anybody or knocking anything.
Okay.
There are shelters here that you can stay if you like. Last night I actually stayed in a shelter inside.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the Salvation Army.
Do you run the risk of having things stolen from you in shelters?
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, that part is ridiculous. Ridiculous.
How many times have you been robbed?
Oh, I lost count.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Can I ask what your what the fire is for?
No.
What's it for?
Fire.
With what? Why? For what? For fun?
No.
Are you a store owner?
I don't know English. Yes, so.
No English?
Yeah.
Ah, okay. I think he's burning some papers. Maybe a store owner or something like that. Newspapers? Okay. Also, some despair here as well. People hanging out, collecting things in bags and whatnot. The other side of the road looks arguably worse.
Selling Twinkies.
Where did you get the Twinkies?
I buy them wholesale.
A wholesale, okay. And then you sell individually?
Yeah.
Do you do discounts?
3 for $5. 3 boxes for $5.
Oh, that's actually a good deal. This guy's trying to sell me Twinkies. Would you be willing to go sell me an individual Twinkie for 1 cigarette?
Yeah, I'll give you
All right, bet. You gotta do what you can out here. All right, look. You don't smoke? All right, bro. Thank you. Appreciate it. The community is giving back to us out here 2 chocolate Twinkies. We're gonna put them in the bag for later. I think we found some chillers. We found some cool people. Friends just selling some Twinkies. It's like smoking some meth to the pipe.
I've been down here for 30 years, on and off.
30 years?
Yes.
Okay, so have you been born and raised in Vancouver?
No, on Vancouver Island.
What's it like being out in East Hastings? Do you have like a community out here? You've been out here for 30 years. It's been quite a while.
On and off, if I wasn't in jail, but yeah, no. I don't know. I don't like it, really, honestly. I don't agree with a lot of the action and stuff going on.
Do you stay on the streets, or do you have like a SRO?
No, nothing. No, I just stay wherever, and mostly by myself, really. 'Cause, yeah, it just, I don't know.
Do you have anything you'd like to say to anybody out there might be watching? There's a good chance there's a lot of people that's going to see this video, so it could be a pretty impactful message.
Don't do drugs. Don't try anything.
There's a secret to this. Okay, there's a trick, okay?
Okay, what is
so
it?
you know how, I tell people, I don't want to explain too much, but you know how, we're smoking bacteria pretty much, right?
Yeah.
Bug bacteria, fecal matter. When you twist this off, right?
Hi. You don't need to skip this section. It's not an advertisement. I'll just be like 15 seconds. Just want to say 2 things. Thank you for making it this far into the video. And the best way to support me for free is to just click the video. What think you've derived from this. Please click the like button. That's all I got.
There's a secret to this, I tell people, I don't want to explain too much, but you know how, we're smoking bacteria pretty much, right?
Yeah.
Bug bacteria, fecal matter. When you twist this off, right, it reduces the amount of fecal matter that you're injecting inside your body.
They'll take their pills, they'll dilute it with saline water or any type of water.
What are you trying to explain here?
How you guys cook the drug in this.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll just take the drug with the needle here, they'll take it out and they'll inject. And this is what it looks like.
What's the message for the world before we go?
Holy
Stay safe, don't do drugs.
no, that shit.
Trump.
Stay safe for sure. Do as many drugs as you possibly can before the world ends. But also, I was just saying, All that money that the government is giving people is corrupt money. A little amount of money that's not quite enough to better their whole life, but it's enough to like keep them going, get them high.
I do think, though, that this is some of the more congested areas where you're going to find people selling stolen items in street markets like this. We've got some DVDs, dolls, boots. It seems more or less they have a barter system out here. So instead of trading money as currency, they're trading other items, right?
Exactly. I mean, look,
These guys are doing some shopping.
phone right there, phone case, the bike.
Mostly stolen, I would assume.
Absolutely.
We can only venture to guess.
Exactly, yeah.
This guy is just having a nap, or...
Hey, buddy.
You good?
Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy, you good? My man, you good?
You okay?
You breathing? Yeah? Shake your head yes for me, I'll leave you alone. Just nod your head yes and I'll leave you alone. If not, I'm gonna have to Narcan you, man. Are you okay?
What's the rules for Narcan? Like, if they're slightly responsive, they're gonna be okay?
Yeah, if they're slightly responsive, they're gonna be okay. If they're pale white, sometimes blue to the skin, then it's best to just Narcan them. But in this case, he's fine. He's breathing.
Okay.
He's good.
The opiates slow the heart rate, slow down the breathing. That's what we're seeing a lot with the people out here. Look at this guy just like picking on the ground. That's obviously somebody you want to check on when they lose the color, face, skin.
Absolutely, yeah. The majority of the time when you Narcan someone that's in a very deep high like that, they'll get very angry, very, very angry.
You're waking them up from what they were in.
Yeah, Narcan will send you into withdrawals. I don't think anybody wants that.
Somebody just like screaming here.
Withdrawals.
Yeah.
Withdrawals.
On the side of the road too.
Yep.
Dangerous, very dangerous.
Very, very dangerous.
Yeah, look, he's in the middle of the road. He's gonna get hit. You wanna go get him off the road?
Yeah. Hey, buddy.
Hey, you wanna come off the road? There's cars coming. Come this way.
Go over here.
Thank you. All right, I'm gonna get a little bit uneasy coming up here with the camera because this is more clustered with people. There's just a dog off the leash following. Hey, puppy. Who owns the dog?
Wow.
Oh, I think this lady. Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's a cute dog, eh? What's your name?
Israel.
Israel?
Yeah.
My name's Gavin. It's nice to meet you. He's out here making a video in Vancouver.
I don't know.
Oh, okay. So, outreach possibly? This is what we're looking at here?
That's what it looks like, yeah.
Handing out some food.
Yeah.
Food for the community.
Absolutely.
And everybody's double taking at the camera. It's making me a little bit thrown off. Zero. Yeah, no. Yeah, some big YouTubers. But small YouTubers, no money.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm trying. Trying my best. So the guy I was just recording said, don't film me. You think he's possibly a dealer?
Correct. He's got a knife on him.
Ooh, I see that also. Let's
That's right.
keep walking, yeah.
I love that. Have a good one,
bro.
buddy.
Take it easy.
Stay
See ya.
safe. Yep.
Look, 2 animals. What you say? What you say?
I'm just letting you know if you don't really like you guys coming around here.
Yeah, that's okay. It's like, it's public property, so it's like.
Just explaining to you, that's all.
Yeah, we understand. Some people won't like it, obviously. But thank you. Thanks for the warning.
My hand hurts really bad right now.
Oh, okay. Your hand hurts? Is it like infected or swollen?
I'm infected. I go to the hospital. I got flashlight last year.
Do you need us to call anybody for you?
No, I'm gonna go on my own.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Hi.
You guys want a toonie?
Toonie, I don't have change. I have a smoke if you want it. Sure. What's your name?
Lilith.
Lilith?
Yeah.
My name is Gavin. It's nice to meet you. This is a insane alleyway right here. Quite unlike anything I've ever experienced, if I'm being honest. All right, let's head this way down the alleyway. This is filthy.
Yep, must discuss those feces right there.
People missed the garbage can. Look at all that. Oh my goodness.
It's the apartments up there throwing it down onto the garbage.
Oh. Instead of, yeah.
Look at that guy right there.
The guy with the blanket outside?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So they'll be throwing stuff. They don't care.
Look how dirty this alley is.
This is bad.
Yeah, this is quite literally the worst pockets in the entire country. This area of town in downtown Vancouver on the east side is the worst thing that you'll ever see when it comes to homelessness, poverty, and drug addiction. Thank you for coming out here, by the way.
Of course, man. Anytime.
I would never go do this.
Anytime.
I would never do this alone.
Not with a camera.
No?
No. I would do it without a camera.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Bro, anytime, man. You let me know. This is crazy, man. I kind of want to look where the safe injection site is, see what's going on over there, but...
I kind of want to check it out, but...
Okay, let's go.
You want to?
Yeah, why not?
This seems to be a common alleyway people are using as a shortcut. Lots of people, like, going up and down.
Yeah. And
you did say that he's breathing.
Correct, yes,
All
he is breathing.
So we're not just walking by, not doing anything about it. The main issue I'm having here is the drug dealers on the corners that are probably the most worried and annoyed about the camera. They're probably not users themselves, not to the extent of like opioids.
Right.
And you can tell the ones who are alert and the ones who aren't.
The rich ones will never attack you.
Yeah, we're good.
No.
We're
Get
good.
that
Good.
thing out of my
Relax.
face.
Relax.
Get out of the face. It's not in your face. Just relax, bro. We're here doing a documentary to help you guys.
Yeah, but not in this alley. Go to a different one, please.
We're
What do you think we're doing? We're walking
Okay,
through.
okay.
All right. Are you good?
Yeah, we're
All right,
good.
buddy.
Yeah,
All
we
right.
don't want fucking
Bro.
our faces on video. That's all.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
All
We're
right?
not coming to record you. We're just walking through the alley.
Okay, but we just don't like any cameras. You know
All right,
what I'm
we
saying?
understand.
And it's not just me. I know you're a big guy, but I mean, hey, help us, and we appreciate that,
Absolutely,
right? But
that's what we're here
we
for.
just got to do it correctly, right? You should have came before without that thing, right?
We did. You were here earlier.
Dude, relax, bro. What the f is your problem? Relax.
Yeah, he's the chief. He's the chief. Just go.
All right, we're leaving.
Yeah,
We're leaving.
okay.
Damn, people are pissed. We're leaving. Can you relax? What is your problem?
What's your problem, bro? What's your problem?
You just go. Just go.
Relax.
Don't push me back.
We're leaving.
Don't push back.
We were walking through an alley.
I'm trying to help you. See?
All right, relax. We're leaving. We're leaving.
The police are right there.
I know.
The police are right there. That's the funny thing.
Thank you.
Keep walking.
All right, they're throwing food at us.
They can throw whatever they want.
All right. So the block has a chief apparently.
He's not no chief. That guy's a pussy. That's not a chief.
We're leaving. We're leaving.
Just come back.
Who are you?
Get off the block. Who are you? Get off the fucking
We're literally leaving, and she's yelling at us.
Right. Yeah. Okay. No
All right,
worries.
bro. All right, bro. We're leaving.
Smacked or what?
We're leaving.
Get the fucking down. Like fucking.
The police are down there. Relax. Hey.
What are you doing?
Relax.
Don't touch me. Get out of here. Don't do shit. Don't fuck out of here. You don't do nothing.
Relax.
Touch me again.
Let's do it, bro. What's up? Let's do it. Yeah, look at you. You're scared now, ain't you?
Relax.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Oh, shit off. Oh,
We're leaving.
shit off.
Why did that outreach worker come out and start saying us? The girl who said, like, I already told you to leave.
Yeah, I'm gonna go talk to this police officer because that outreach worker threatened us, and she's an employee of the city.
Somebody's
When-
gonna steal that from you, man.
What's that?
They're gonna steal that from
Somebody's gonna steal the camera?
you. And yes,
Okay, that's your only.
I'm telling you because
Possibly recording.
Yeah, but we're not here to record you guys. Is the thing.
no, I get like
This is my city just as much as it is your guys, right?
I know
So,
you're here to just like record whatever.
Want to have a chat about it?
I wanna.
well, that's why we came over here. Like, I'm pretty uneasy because these people are screaming at me.
The other guys to come.
Yeah, I can put the camera down, sure.
Told the other guys to come threaten me, and they threw food at me.
Oh, that's what happened.
Yeah, so I would like to get something official going because I'm gonna look at pursuing this matter.
Sure, absolutely.
And just so you know, I am a trained guard. I have my handcuffs in my pocket.
Yeah. I'm gonna give you the non-emergency number because it's not actively happening right now. I'm gonna give you the non-emergency number because we actually need to get back to do something else right now.
Okay.
Like if this was the start of my shift, I'd help you.
Oh, bro, the police are fucking useless, man. This is why all these things happen, right? This is why it's out of control, because the police don't fucking do anything. And if they do, these people just get let out, literally, within a few hours. So, that's why the police don't care. Oh, no, we got something more important to do. We'll give you the non-emergency number. It's like, what? Bro. That situation got out of hand very quickly. There's tons of people there. Absolute nightmare. Don't go to Vancouver, ladies and gentlemen. Stay as far away from this shithole city as you can. Moving on, Moose on the Loose. Typical video. They're probably gonna fucking talk about Trump or something.
President Donald Trump is attempting to create more of a roadblock.
Trump's at it again. Welcome back to Moose and Loose. My name's David. Today we've got Donald Trump sharing his thoughts on how...
I can't anymore. I fucking can't.
negotiations are going with Canada. We got some polling data that came out this week on Alberta separation. Got some other stuff. Let's jump into this. Starting this one off, we got this from Trending Politics showing household debt as a share of GDP. All the countries listed here, and where's Canada? Well, it's number 3, 101% of household debt as share of GDP, only to be bested by Australia and Switzerland. You'll notice America isn't even on this list. Got this one here. I've seen this multiple times. Just thought I'd point this out. CP24 posting Wasaga Beach recognized as Canada's #1 beach for swimming. I've seen multiple posts on X today, this coordinated effort to make Wasaga Beach seem like this great place to swim. We all know the stories of all the hot corals being dropped on the beach. I don't know if people are burying hot ones in the sand year round, but the comments here are all saying the same thing, swimming in the doo-doo. We also got journalist Eli here posting this. Ontario Liberal Party will allow temporary residents to vote in its upcoming leadership race. Of course they will. Temporary residents were banned from federal Liberals' last leadership race amidst foreign interference concerns, but for the Ontario Liberal Party, that's no problem. Why the heck would temporary residents be allowed to vote for anything in Canada? This country's becoming a joke. Next time they'll be allowed to vote in our federal elections. This is just it. Why? Citizens only. We should make a rule too that you have to be citizen for so much time before you can vote, because otherwise we get what we have right now where the Liberals just keep bringing in people from South Asia and giving out all the free handouts, and what do they get in return? Votes. People are more likely to vote Liberal when they're getting $80,000 a year from the government for months or years before becoming a citizen. Moving ahead, we're not going to be talking too much about Tumbler Ridge, but we do have this one clip here, another one from Ian Hanuman Singh, as this account's pointing out, listen to the most disgusting question he asks MLA Larry Newfield. Do you think this is an appropriate question for him to ask?
People, and the community's been wounded very deeply. You're the conservative representative, MLA. Does that matter right now, being an conservative? Absolutely not. When if the Prime Minister does arrive, when the Premier arrives, we all wear different colored T-shirts. I could care less. I'm going to shake their hands as friends, as brothers, as comrades. We are here for the people of this community, regardless. Great to hear, and although it's sad that it's under concern.
Do you think that matters? Well, what a ridiculous question. We have young kids that were just ended, and this is the kind of crap they're putting on here, trying to stir up this division, making this all political. CBC is disgusting. What utterly ridiculous thing to say. That's a Liberal-funded shill like no other. Shameful. He's a mouthpiece for the Liberal government. Nothing else. I'm actually embarrassed for him. What a stupid question. CBC, absolute garbage. So yeah, the people here not exactly liking this. We've got some big news out of America. We've got this one breaking. The U.S. House has voted to terminate President Trump's tariffs on Canada, 219 to 211.
I mentioned this yesterday. I didn't know when the vote was going to happen. Well, there you have it. Who knows what's going to come from this?
On this vote, the yeas are 219 and the nays are 211. The joint resolution is passed. Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
So the American system is very bizarre because they voted on this, as you can see, 219 votes to terminate the tariffs on Canada. So you'd think this would go forward. Donald Trump has come out with this. Any Republican in the House or the Senate that votes against tariffs will seriously suffer the consequences come election time, and that includes primaries. Our trade deficit has been reduced by 78%. The Dow Jones is at 50,000, S&P 7,000. All numbers were considered impossible just 1 year ago. In addition, tariffs have given us great national security because the mere mention of the word has countries agreeing to our strongest wishes. Tariffs have given us economic and national security, and no Republican should be responsible for destroying this privilege. So what comes of this? Well, Donald Trump can just veto this. Even though it's voted on, once it gets to his desk, then he can just veto it. So their system is kind of funny down there because, well, it doesn't really matter that they put this to a vote.
And reaction from this side of the border as well. Ontario Premier Doug Ford posting a statement saying this is an important victory with more work ahead. He thanked members of both parties, saying, quote, "Let's end the tariffs and together build a more prosperous and secure future." And CTV News U.S. political analyst Eric Ham joins us now with more. Eric, great to see you. It's always interesting to read the reactions that come in immediately after developments like that. But let's talk about what happened in the House. We understand some Republicans joining hands with Democrats to pass this bill in a rebuke to Trump's trade policies. Tell us more.
Yeah, that's right. In fact, the procedural vote that took place earlier that would actually allow this vote on this legislation by House Democrats only received 3 votes. But what we see here, this actual vote to repeal the tariffs got 6 Republicans to join with Democrats to move this through the House, and now it goes before the Senate. Now, President Donald Trump certainly was not happy with the outcome. In fact, in that Truth Social post, he made clear that any Republican that actually stood against him on this issue regarding tariffs, they would have consequences come election time. He said, including primaries. So what we're seeing here right now is President Donald Trump is attempting to create more of a roadblock for Republicans, as we're now beginning to see some Republicans are beginning to move away from the president, particularly on the Epstein issue, as well as now on tariffs as it relates to Canada.
Yeah, more threats, of course, being issued by the president to his own. But let me ask you about...
So Trump has come out with another tweet, or technically it's called The Truth on this website. Canada has taken advantage of the United States on trade for many years. They are among the worst in the world to deal with, especially as it relates to our northern border. Tariffs make a win for us easy. Republicans must keep it that way, President Donald J. Trump. You see this? They're among the worst in the world to deal with. This statement here, what is this? Is this Donald Trump negotiating hard once again? Is this him trying to help Mark Carney get a majority government because Brookfield shielded him during this investigation into 666 Fifth Avenue, his son-in-law Jared Kushner's property that was failing, that was bailed out with Qatari money that was invested in Brookfield? I write regarding Brookfield Asset Management's refusal to provide the Senate Finance Committee information as requested. Once again here, it says down here 666 Fifth Avenue. Is this Trump giving an IOU to Mark Carney and Brookfield? What we do know, this is going to rile up Canadians once again to vote for Mark Carney for some reason, thinking that he's going to somehow get a deal with Donald Trump when he clearly keeps proving that he's working for America. He's invested in America 91%. His EV plan he just rolled out will subsidize American EVs. He just caved on the F-35 contracts, just quietly slid that one under the rug. No negotiating, just buying the F-35s. Carney is not working for Canada, and this doesn't bode well for us. Moving ahead, we've got a new Alberta separation poll that has come out.
New numbers around the push for Alberta separation. Polling from the Angus Reid Institute says that push could be more talk than action. The poll shows fewer than 3 in 10 in Alberta say they would vote in favor of the province leaving Canada. Nearly 2/3 say they'd vote to stay in Canada.
So what we're looking at is 8% that would definitely leave, 21% leaning towards leaving, so 28%. And if you add in, say, a couple percent from the not sure, that could be upwards of 32%.
Meanwhile, the man who wrote Canada's law on separation referendums urging the federal government to stake out a stronger position.
As separatists in Alberta threaten to tear the country apart, the man who helped draft the landmark Clarity Act has a warning for those pushing a referendum on independence.
It's interesting. Let's just talk about the language there from JP Tasker. Alberta separatists threatening to tear apart the country.
I was just about to say that. The language is so fucking wild. Like, trying to build this narrative here.
How about the Liberals that have crapped all over the West for decades now? The language here matters. Alberta, Saskatchewan, British Columbia has been getting the short end of the stick from the Liberals, from Pierre Elliott Trudeau, Justin Trudeau, and Mark Carney, Liberals, for decades now. So if the country is being ripped apart, whether it's from Alberta, Saskatchewan separation, Quebec separation, it's because the Liberals are doing such a bad job of unifying the country and treating all citizens equally.
A very demanding one. Because to trigger the breakup of a country is not something trivial.
That federal legislation passed after the 1995 vote on Quebec separation makes it difficult for any province to pull out of Confederation. There needs to be a clear question on secession approved by Parliament, and a slim majority won't cut it.
Put your country before your party, please. That would be my reaction. I have no patience for separatist blackmail.
Stéphane Dion says Alberta Premier Danielle Smith is playing with fire, making it easier to hold a referendum and not clearly standing up for Canada.
It's a mess, and she needs to clarify what that means for Albertans and Canadians, the situation she has created herself.
Smith, meanwhile, says she just wants a better deal from Ottawa, a sovereign Alberta in a united Canada.
As for 10 years, we saw a prime minister that did everything he could to devastate the West.
Prime Minister Mark Carney is trying to tamp down those feelings of alienation. He's dismantling past Liberal laws widely seen as an attack on the oil and gas sector. The latest move, doing away with the electric vehicle mandate and replacing it with rebates.
It's a plan that is very pragmatic, very realistic.
While speaking with former Prime Minister Jean Chrétien last week, another past PM, Stephen Harper, said he's opposed to a referendum in his adopted province.
I don't know what the hell is going on in Alberta. But I have to go there. I have 500 cousins.
I can sign the petitions.
He says the feds must do more to keep Alberta independence at bay by supporting the province's oil patch.
Canada needs to build critical infrastructure like another pipeline to the West Coast, not someday, but right now.
I mean, Tim Hodgson just came back from India where they have a demand for as much oil as we can sell them. Why aren't we fast tracking a pipeline right now? It's because they need to get carbon capture and storage set up so they can push their green eco money grift on Canadians first. That's all they care about. This is all about money. They don't care about us. They do not love our country. They don't love Canadians. They have no interest in making the lives of Canadians better, ever. It's all about money. People are greedy. You have to have good people at the top, otherwise they'll do this kind of crap. Mark Carney has so many conflicts of interest. He's not being investigated. He's allowed to announce companies willy-nilly, like the Red Chris mine that he's invested in, and then the stock value goes up. Since he became Prime Minister, the Red Chris mine is up 122%. Is he making money? You bet he is. I mean, look at all of these. 119% for GE Vernova. He announced that one too. Same thing with BWX Technologies, up 89%. Brookfield Corporation's up 32%. All of these are up. Look at all of these. 33%. Canadian Natural Resources. ExxonMobil, 38%. Of course, CBC's like, oh, the Alberta separatists want to rip everything apart. It's like, no, it's the Liberals' fault for all of this. So also talking about this on CTV.
Provincial sovereignty, a new survey shows most Albertans would vote to stay in Canada. The Angus Reid Institute found less than 3 in 10 Albertans say they would vote for separation if a referendum were held today. By contrast, 65% say they would vote to remain in Canada, with most saying their decision is definite. While most Albertans oppose separation, the survey does suggest many are still conflicted. Many Albertans who firmly oppose separation say the most convincing reason to stay are a sense of Canadian identity and concerns about practicality. Albertans who would vote to leave Canada said they were largely unconvinced by arguments to stay.
And that's just it. You need some sort of spreadsheet of information where it lays it out very clearly what the benefits are, putting forward policies like getting rid of income tax. And there needs to be a very clear leader people can rally around. I think that's the major problem right now. If there was a clear leader, then people could put a face to it and put some trust in someone, because it's not Danielle Smith, and Jeffrey Rath is not really the leader of the party. He's kind of leading it up, but he wouldn't be the leader unless he was voted for that, which hasn't happened.
Let's bring in Laurie Williams, political analyst at Mount Royal University. Laurie, we've been following this. We touched on this last week, I believe, too. Now we have some harder numbers from Angus Reid, too, in particular. Does it surprise you at this point, or do you think this is pretty standard? What do you make of this latest data?
Well, I think most of these numbers are lining up with what we have seen. The folks that are really committed to leaving are hovering around 10%. It's as low as 8% in this particular survey. But that total of people that are considering voting for separation almost comes to 30%. And again, we've seen that in polling on a continuing basis. Now the question becomes, what are people open to in the way of persuasion and discussion, and what do they mean by separation? And so there are a lot of those folks that are in that 21% who are leaning, who might be what we call symbolic or soft separatists, folks who want to send a message to Ottawa. They want a better, fairer relationship with the rest of the country. And some are very concerned about the disrespect that they think has been shown to Albertans. And that sentiment is fairly widespread, much bigger than that 21 or even 29% in Alberta. The question is, what do you want to do with it? The other thing I think is really interesting about this study is...
So this one here, you can see it says, suppose Albertans voted to separate from Canada. If that happens, would you stay or move somewhere else? And it says 74% move to another province or territory in Canada. This is only N equals 638. These need to be much bigger. They need to have a poll that's like a couple thousand people from all over the province. Because I find it very hard to believe that 74% of people are going to move out.
Is the net approval of the leaders that are weighing into the debate. Mark Carney is in the lead. And again, of course, this is including all those folks that would vote in favor of separation. But what I find really striking is that Danielle Smith is underwater by 17 points on the leadership. That suggests to me that people that are in both camps don't like the way that she's dealing with this. And secondly, that Mitch Sylvester and Jeffrey Rath are at minus 21 and minus 25. In other words, the leaders of this particular referendum campaign are pretty deeply unpopular in terms of those net numbers.
Yeah, so overall, again, a lot of people are just, a lot of Albertans, I think in particular, too, not super pleased about how things have been handled and where things are at, I guess, right now. What happens, do you think, Lori, now moving forward as we continue to watch, as we're going to watch and see if they get to their 178,000 signatures by the beginning of May, if a referendum will actually happen right now. But, it feels like a lot of this discontent goes back.
Like, let's get real. That's going to happen. There's definitely going to be enough people to push that forward to a vote. They should speak more honestly on here. There's clearly enough people signing that's going to happen. But as I said before, I don't think, from all the polling data, whether you look at this one or all the other ones, it's going to be around 30%. It's not enough, which means conservatives, all conservatives, whether it's separatists from Alberta or Saskatchewan or anywhere across Canada, all have to rally together to get rid of this corrupt Liberal government, because that's the best shot to save our country. Right now, Carney's just going to run this thing into the ground with his net zero agenda, getting absolutely stinking rich, and Canadians don't even know what's going on. Look at this video here from Real Talk Politics in Halifax. This is obviously a very left-leaning place, but just listen to this. They asked Carney or Poilievre.
Carney.
I bet you if I asked every single one of those people if they knew about his conflicts of interest, all his ties with Brookfield, all this stuff, the answer would be no to all of them. So many Canadians have no idea what's going on in our country, and they're voting in a way that is going to bring upon misery into their own lives. A lot of people will lose their jobs because they voted for Mark Carney.
Why?
Well, because let's be. Oh, actually, never mind.
Oh, he's an asshole.
You like medic?
I don't know much about all of them.
Mark Carney or Pierre Poilievre?
Mark Carney.
Why?
I love him.
Yeah?
Poilievre.
You have a good relationship with him?
I don't.
Just you don't know?
I don't know.
I don't have all the time to justify it. He's good judgment.
Because they're a bunch of robots. They're a bunch of NPCs that sit down, see a couple things online, see a couple things on the mainstream media, and they drink it up like the good little sheep they are. All right, guys, moving on to question period. Here we go.
And this has deeply shaken both the community and all of Canada. I would like to offer my sincere condolences to the affected families and to all members of the community who are facing nameless suffering. You are in our hearts and in our prayers. Thank you.
The Honourable Member for Vancouver Centre.
Mr. Speaker, I want to offer comfort to the families who lost their loved ones so tragically, so cruelly, so suddenly in Tumbler Ridge, BC. But I'm at a loss for words. They've all been said. What can I say to ease the pain of a parent who will never again see or hug their child, watch them grow, share with them the ordinary joys and sorrows of daily life? As a mother, my heart breaks for those years lost forever. What can I say to heal the wounds of a community that once lived in trust and may now be guarded? What can I say to the families who keep vigil by the bedside of the injured, hoping and praying? Or to the traumatized children for whom school was once a place to play, learn, feel safe? Words have become trite. Thoughts and prayers are not enough. We in this House can honor the lives lost in Tumbler Ridge. We can ensure that this tragedy will never happen again to other families, other children, other communities. We have the tools and the power to make that pledge. We must now find the courage.
The Honourable Member for Long Range Mountains.
I rise today to honor the life of James Feltham of Deer Lake, who we knew as Jim. He passed away just a few days ago. For 30 years, Jim devoted himself to teaching at Elwood Regional High School, and for more than 50 years, he was a pillar of the basketball community. He coached generations of young athletes, including me. He gave so much of himself to the sport that he loved. Jim also salmon fished along the Humber River close to our family property, and we anticipated the opening of the season and his arrival when he would put his boat in the water. We watched him spend hours out there. It wasn't just something he enjoyed, but also a place where he seemed to find tremendous peace. He never wanted help getting on and off the river, highlighting his quiet independence. Jim's leadership His love for his community and his independent spirit left a lasting mark across our town. He meant something to so many of us. Today we remember him with gratitude and respect. My heartfelt condolences go to his family and all who were fortunate enough to know him.
The honourable member for Burnaby Central.
Mr. Speaker, how do we ensure that fear will never defeat us as Canadians? Families in Tumbler Ridge have faced every parent's worst nightmare. Innocent lives were taken, and many others were injured. To the grieving families, we offer our deepest condolences. Your loss is felt across this country. To those recovering, and to the students and teachers carrying trauma, we stand beside you. We thank the teachers who protected their students, the first responders who ran toward danger, and the healthcare workers who worked tirelessly to save lives. In Burnaby Central, we come from many cultures and speak different languages, but we stand as one in our promise. Our children should grow up free from violence. Today, we hold Tumbler Ridge in our hearts. We rise together by choosing light over hatred, solidarity over division, and peace over violence. We deny fear its power. And in every choice we make, we uphold Canada, a land of courage, a home of compassion. Merci.
The honourable member for Richmond Hill South.
Lunar New Year has been celebrated on this land for as long as Canada has been a country. When Chinese immigrants first arrived in British Columbia around the time of Confederation, they brought with them the traditions that were passed down for thousands of years. Traditions of family, renewal, gratitude, and hope. And for over a century, these celebrations have been part of Canada's history. Today, Lunar New Year is celebrated by millions of Canadians with roots tracing back to Chinese, Korean, and Vietnamese descent, and embraced by neighbors and friends of every background. The values celebrated at this time of year, like respect for elders and the generations before us, responsibility to family, generosity, and community spirit, are also conservative values. We believe strong families build strong communities, and strong communities build a strong country. It is people, not big government, who empower society and shape our future. To all those across Canada celebrating in 2026, I wish you health, prosperity, and happiness in the year ahead as we welcome the Year of the Horse. Happy Lunar New Year. Gong Hei Fa Chai.
The honourable member for Laurentides-Labelle. Mr. Speaker, in life, there are people who inspire us with their self-sacrifice, strength, and dignity in adversity. As Veterans Affairs critic, I have met a number of exceptional people. I have come to know a world that is too little known, a world full of humanity and altruism. And there's one person in particular that I'd like to mention, one of the guardian angels who each in their own way transformed their experience of combat into a force for good. Mr. Speaker, I wish to introduce retired Captain Jocelyn Demetre, founder of the Hero Lodge, a retreat in the Northwest Territories that he funds from sales of his book. He also received the Minister's Commendation. I'd like to thank him. Jocelyn Demetre is a hero who every day pursues his mission to serve.
The honourable member for Fleetwood Port Kells.
Mr. Speaker, we are all heartbroken by the horrific attack at the Tumbler Ridge Secondary School. No parent should ever have to experience the loss of a child. I want to join members of the House in sharing my grief for the 9 lives lost in Tumbler Ridge on Tuesday, and to pray for the quick recovery for all the injured survivors. I also want to thank the first responders for their professionalism, which doubtlessly saved many lives. As the people of Tumbler Ridge feel the weight of their heavy loss, I want them to know that this House and this nation stands with them. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The honourable member for Vaughan Woodbridge.
Canada's housing market is sending alarming signals. New home sales in the GTA have fallen to their lowest point in 45 years, putting up to 100,000 jobs at risk. Across major markets, sales are down sharply, while builders report layoffs, and there is growing concern about their ability to stay afloat. At the same time, home ownership among Canadians 30 to 34 years old has fallen significantly over the past decade, and new housing supply is failing to keep pace with population growth. Nearly 9 in 10 Canadians now express concerns for a housing affordability, and many young people are considering leaving their communities because home ownership feels out of reach. Without action, an entire generation now risks being locked out of home ownership in their own communities. Young Canadians deserve policies that increase housing supplies. When will the Liberals collaborate with us and remove barriers to construction so we can restore the dream of home ownership for young people in this country again?
Hear, hear. Hear, hear. The honourable member for Port Moody Coquitlam.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today as a British Columbian to express my deepest sympathy for the people of Tumbler Ridge. Innocent lives were lost in an unimaginable tragedy that has shaken a small and deeply connected community to its core. To the families, friends, classmates, teachers, and first responders, you carry a heavy burden of grief that is almost impossible to bear. Nothing can replace the beautiful lives that were taken. They matter, and they will never be forgotten. And in this country, when tragedy strikes one community, it touches us all. Canadians don't turn away. We draw closer. We stand together. We support and love one another. And that is who we are, and that is what it means to be Canadian.
The honourable member for Niagara South.
Mr. Speaker, American protectionism is hammering our auto sector, yet this Liberal government has announced a $2.3 billion EV subsidy for vehicles built in the United States. That is not leadership, it's economic capitulation. Donald Trump has been clear he wants every Canadian auto job moved south. Under the Liberals, 5,000 Canadian auto workers have already lost their jobs. Plants are idled. Families are hurting. Yet the government is prepared to let Canadian tax dollars subsidize American factories during the economic fight of our lives. In Niagara, a brand new EV plant was completed but never opened because the market never materialized. Another major EV battery facility is being built right now in a precariously murky market. Conservatives believe in one simple, non-negotiable principle. Canadian dollars are for Canadian jobs, full stop. Not to bankroll foreign factories, not to ship opportunity across the border, and certainly not to export our paychecks, our plants, or our prosperity.
L'honorable député de Pontiac, Kitigan.
The honourable member for Pontiac, Kitigan ZB.
Mr. Speaker, in this tragic week for our country, my heart is also with the people of Kitigan ZB. The community is grieving an unimaginable loss when they lost 2 of their children. A loss that every parent, every family, every member of this strong and deeply caring community feels today. To the people of Kitigan ZB, I want to say this. You are not alone. We stand with you. We're mourning with you. À la famille et au...
To the family and loved ones, our thoughts and our prayers are with you. As you start out on this path of both grief and healing, we walk with you, Miigwech.
The honourable member for Caribou, Prince George.
Mr. Speaker, this past Tuesday, innocence was lost. Not expecting the unimaginable horrific events that would take place that day, parents packed lunches and sent their children to school. Precious lives were taken and many others were injured in an act of devastating, brutal, and senseless violence. Mr. Speaker, long after the political statements are made and the flags are raised and the cameras are gone, This day must forever be etched in our hearts and minds, because the families in Tumbler Ridge are forever changed. And they're now facing unimaginable grief. The grief of silent classrooms, of empty seats around the dinner table, of parents replaying the last goodbye, wishing they had held on to their child just a little bit longer, or told them that they loved them. The sorrow that we feel is almost too heavy to bear. On behalf of the families in my riding of Caribou Prince George, many of whom, like mine, have friends and relatives in Tumbler Ridge, I extend our deepest condolences. To the students whose sense of safety has forever been shaken and lives forever changed, we are here for you. To the teachers whose courage and selflessness saved lives. To the first responders who ran towards danger to protect others, and to the nurses and healthcare workers who treated the wounded, you are truly heroes, and we owe you a debt of gratitude forever. It is on us as a nation to wrap the community of Tumbler Ridge in our collective arms, to lift them up, hold them in our hearts, and to never forget. To my colleagues, hold your loved ones a little tighter today, and never miss an opportunity to tell them you love them. Thank you.
The honourable member for Coquitlam, Port Coquitlam.
Mr. Speaker, Tuesday's tragic events at Tumbler Ridge Secondary School have left a community devastated.
So, while statements by members is continuing for the next couple minutes, I just saw this pop up. Okay. Arviat Nunavut, okay, so somewhere in Nunavut, is going to receive $200 million for a university that serves 100 students. Why are we not just like paying for these students to go anywhere else in the country? Why are we wasting $200 million on a full university that will serve only 100 people? Nobody's going to want to go out there. Let me make that clear. Nobody wants to go out there to begin with. So would it not make more sense to at least take a portion of that $200 million and just fund them to go to a school somewhere else in the country? It'd probably cost less money. Just saying. But instead we're funding a full building all the way out in Nunavut for 100 people by 2030. It's a major waste of money. And everybody is calling it out. Waste of money. $200 million. To do what? Study the 20 different words for ice? This is dumb as hell. $200 million for 100 students. Yeah, this is some wacky shit. Very wacky.
Community.
As to the support being provided and share any news that would be appropriate as this investigation proceeds.
The Honourable Government House Leader.
Merci, Monsieur le Président, et pour la question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I thank my honourable colleague for his question.
Been grieving since the horrific events of Tuesday, and nowhere is that grief more deeply felt than in the community of Tumbler Ridge itself. The residents have come together to support each other in this time of indescribable pain, and obviously, Mr. Speaker, we want to assure them they are not alone. The Minister of Public Safety is in Tumbler Ridge working with colleagues, and including the Member of Parliament, working with provincial and municipal partners to hear directly from the community and coordinating with those levels of government. Service Canada officials are planning to be present very soon on the ground as well, and we expect that further updates will be provided from the RCMP as information becomes available and as their investigation progresses. Finally, Mr. Speaker, at the invitation of the Mayor of Tumbler Ridge, the Prime Minister will be traveling to the community on Friday to attend a vigil in memory of the victims of this week's tragic shootings, and the Prime Minister has invited leaders of all parties to accompany him to the community. Mr. Speaker, this has been a dark week in the history of our country, and I know we will all, working together, get through this, and we continue to send our heartfelt best wishes and sympathies to the people of Tumbler Ridge.
The honourable member for Regina Capel.
I thank the Minister for that update. Mr. Speaker, the Canadian dream of home ownership is fading for too many young Canadians. Despite lots of announcements, the actual results from the Liberal housing plan is downright depressing. Home ownership among 30 to 34-year-olds has fallen to 52%. New home sales are down from 45% in the GTA and 56% in Vancouver. In fact, the government's own housing agency is predicting that new home starts will fall, not increase, by more than 18% for the next 3 years. It's clear more bureaucracy isn't the answer. When will the government adopt the Conservative plan to kickstart home building by removing the GST on all new homes and restore the dream of home ownership for young Canadians?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister for Housing and Infrastructure.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Our government cares deeply about affordability for young Canadians, and that's why before the House right now is the Build Canada Homes Act. Build Canada Homes is about strengthening Canada's future by creating a modern, resilient housing industry. We are building an industry that protects our economy, empowers our workers, and gives Canadians, especially young Canadians, the affordable housing they need. The Build Canada Homes Act is before this House. We hope the members opposite will support it.
The honourable member for Regina Capel.
Speaker, the government's own data shows that building bureaucracy doesn't actually get results. But the Liberals also have it backwards on the auto sector. In the last 10 years of the Liberal government, the number of vehicles produced in Canada has fallen from 2.3 million cars to 1.2 million. Their plan forced working Canadians to send their tax dollars to subsidize the purchase of EVs that most Canadians cannot afford, and the vast majority of which of those EVs sold in Canada are not made in Canada. That means some of the biggest winners of this subsidy program are American auto workers. Instead of forcing Canadian workers to subsidize foreign-made vehicles, why not adopt the Conservative plan and remove the GST on all new vehicles?
The Honourable Minister of Industry.
I would like first and foremost to extend my, of course, prayers and heart to the victims and families in Tumbler Ridge, and know that this government is in support of those affected. Mr. Speaker, I would like to remind my colleague that the money that is going to be supporting EV incentives is actually for Canadians, at a time where we need to make sure that affordability is at the core of everything we do as a government. And that is why Canadians need to be able to have access to more money to afford the right cars, including those made in Canada. Thank you.
The Honourable Member for Charlebourg, Haute-Saint-Charles. Mr. Speaker, the number of cars manufactured in Canada has decreased by half compared to 2016, and over 5,000 jobs have been lost. To add insult to injury, the Prime Minister has introduced an auto strategy that subsidizes EVs made in foreign countries. However, on this side of the House, we have a better idea. Why not ease the burden on Canadian workers and taxpayers by cutting these subsidies for EVs manufactured abroad? Do they think it's a good idea? Yes or no? The Honourable Minister. Mr. Speaker, what is a good idea is our auto strategy. Our auto strategy is welcomed and applauded by the industry, by the industry's workers, by all those who want to make sure that they are employed today, tomorrow, and in 10 years in that sector. The world is moving toward electrification of transportation. We need to modernize. We need to go in that direction, and that's why we have our auto strategy. Why are they ideologically opposed to not only affordability, but also electric transportation? The Honourable Member for Charlebourg, Haute-Saint-Charles. So does that mean that the global market is doing well and that Quebec's and that Canadian market is not. Now, Mr. Speaker, Quebec City, as we know, has always been a tight-knit community, a place where you can buy a house, raise a family in total safety. But now, Mr. Speaker, we must say that the Liberals have increased immigration so much that it has become impossible for young people to buy their first home, even in Quebec City. One thing is certain, that doesn't seem to bother the mayor of Quebec City, who celebrates this terrible situation in the Globe and Mail. Will the Minister of Immigration finally admit that the disproportionate immigration levels imposed on Quebec are preventing young Quebecers from buying a home and starting a family? The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's ironic to hear the member talking about affordability. The mandate of Build Canada Homes is to build affordable homes all over the country. There are sectors going through tough times right now, like steel.
Okay, so I wouldn't typically do this, but I feel like this is pretty big news, to be honest with you, and it's just kind of breaking now. Maybe in the past hour or so. It appears that the U.S. is going to be sending troops to Nigeria amid the Christian persecution. Not entirely sure how many are being sent, but I guess boots on the ground in Nigeria from the U.S. So I'm going to play this video. We're going to get a little bit of info. Then I'm going to go back to question period.
200 American troops are headed to Nigeria to help stop the killing of Christians by Islamist militants. President Trump promised to protect Christians and others under persecution and execution there last year when he designated Nigeria a country of particular concern over the attacks and mass killings and kidnappings. Earlier this week, Congressman Riley Moore was in focus.
Right now, the folks that I am talking to on the ground have described what's happening in the Middle Belt in the north of Nigeria right now in the last 10 days as a bloodbath. It's just wanton death and murder and destruction that continues. But working with the administration, we are making steps in the right direction to address this persecution. The president is very singularly focused on addressing this.
And it is in the Faulkner Focus, and we continue our coverage. Senior foreign correspondent Jillian Turner. Jillian.
Good morning to you, Harris. President Trump is accusing Nigeria's government of complete and total failure to protect its own citizens from terrorist attacks. So now the Pentagon is deploying, as you mentioned, U.S. service members in the hopes that those troops can help Nigeria's military to help its own people. There are 200 troops, as you mentioned, who are going to be deployed to Nigeria. They are going to work hand in glove with a very small U.S. footprint already there on the ground. They are focused on the fight against Islamist terror groups, Boko Haram and ISIS. Here's the president last week, Harris.
When Christians come under attack, they know they're going to be attacked violently and viciously by President.
So, hold on. This was reported on yesterday. So it is happening. It's confirmed. It's legit. This happened yesterday, the first break of the news, and now it's just spreading everywhere. This is massive stuff, guys.
President Trump, I know it's not a nice thing to say, but that's
the president last week, Harris.
When Christians come under attack, they know they're going to be attacked violently and viciously by President Trump. I know it's not a nice thing to say, but that's the way it is.
Nigerians have been hit by a series of deadly attacks in 2026 so far. Militants regularly raiding markets, villages, churches, schools all across the country. More than 240 people have been killed so far. This U.S. troop deployment follows, as you mentioned, the designation of Nigeria as a country of concern in October. Back then, President Trump cited the killing of 3,100 Christians known last year, as well as joint U.S.-Nigerian strikes on terror targets on Christmas Day. The U.S. envoy for religious freedom says that terror groups are actually getting a helping hand, unfortunately. Take a listen.
Nigeria is now the deadliest place on the planet to be a Christian. At the same time, the Nigerian government is seeking and receiving support from countries I previously named: China, Russia, Turkey, and Saudi Arabia. I wonder why.
It's really interesting, Harris, to look at the demographics of African nations writ large, because nearly half of the entire continent today actually identifies as Christian. This is a huge, huge demographic change from 50 years ago.
So considering the violence there is pretty out of control, and now they're sending the military down there. Like, I don't know, I don't think a military presence is going to stop the violence, but we'll see. And like I said, things are very out of control there, so it could escalate very quickly. And if, and I'm saying if, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but if a U.S. soldier were to be injured or anything crazy to happen, you can expect a lot more than 200 troops to show up to Nigeria very quickly. And it's going, like I said, this could escalate very quickly. Hopefully it doesn't, but now that they're officially putting boots on the ground there, it's, I don't know what's going to happen. Anything, literally anything could happen now.
That's going to relieve the load on the entire department. And Mr. Speaker, 7.5 million people have transitioned to this new system without problems. For those urgent cases that are stuck in the queue, we will make sure they get their benefits urgently. We can do that within 48 hours, Mr. Speaker. Please send us the names.
The honourable member for Elgin St. Thomas, London South.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The dream of home ownership is now a fantasy for more and more young Canadians. 93% of them are saying that they are concerned about the state of housing. Nearly half of them believe they will have to leave their own communities because they can't afford to live there. The government's own housing agency says home building will drop over the next 3 years and prices will go up even more. But I've got good news for the Liberals. We have a solution. A Conservative government would remove the GST on new homes under $1.3 million to make them more affordable. Why won't the Liberals do it?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Housing and Infrastructure.
Mr. Speaker, I have good news for the Conservatives. There are 2 bills before this House that they can support that improve affordability for young Canadians. The first is the Budget Implementation Act, which brings in the first-time home ownership GST rebate. The second thing it brings in is housing infrastructure that brings down the cost of housing. Wow. And on top of that, they can support the Build Canada Homes Act, which is catalyzing modern methods of construction and creating jobs for young Canadians.
Excellent. The honourable member for Elgin St. Thomas, London South.
Mr. Speaker, the only thing these Liberals are building is false hope and bureaucracy. Liberal house flippers and penthouse dwellers profit while young Canadians pay the price. On this side of the House, we listen to the experts. The London Home Builders Association told me this week that builders have to spend tens of thousands of dollars per home just on red tape and regulations. Every dollar spent on bureaucracy pushes homes further out of reach for young Canadians. Ontario lost 10,000 home building jobs last year because no one is able to build. When will the Liberals reverse course, cut the red tape, and scrap the GST on homes for families?
Exactly. The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
I know the members' community I know is riding very well. They expect better than hurling insults. That's not a way to get things done in this House of Commons, Mr. Speaker. The point is, and he talks about the London Home Builders Association, it's good. We met this week as well. They talked about, among other things, the Housing Accelerator Fund, which in St. Thomas alone is leading to duplexes, triplexes, fourplexes, mid-rise apartments, and row houses. We're going to continue in that vein, working with municipalities, because we're going to get things done for Canadians and not play games.
The honourable member for York Centre.
Speaker, because of the Liberals, the dream of home ownership is fading for young Canadians. According to CMHC, new housing starts will drop every year for the next 3 years. Nearly half of Canadians say they have to move out of the community they grew up in because they can't afford a home. Instead of incentivizing new construction, the Liberals are building a fourth housing bureaucracy called Build Canada Homes. For what? Why won't the Liberals adopt our Conservative plan, remove the GST of all new homes, and get construction going in Canada?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. More good news. Build Canada Homes is delivering affordable housing for Canadians. In just 100 days, they have secured landmark agreements with the provinces and the cities, advanced building on 6 federal lands. They're lining up thousands of affordable homes, grounds with shovels in the ground very soon. And over the past month alone, they have projects underway in Nova Scotia, Quebec, Ontario, and they're setting forth on delivering 7,500 new homes.
Wow.
This is how we catalyze a new home building industry. And you know what? Keep the momentum going. Support Build Canada Homes Act.
Hear, hear. The honourable member for York Centre.
The only thing the Liberals are building is a fourth housing agency. More desk jobs for Liberal insiders and more Liberal waste. But CMHC is telling them their housing plan is dead on arrival. New housing starts will fall every year for the next 3 years. Builders are laying off workers, and Build is warning that 100,000 construction jobs are now at risk. So instead of building a fourth government agency, why won't they adopt our Conservative plan, remove the GST of all new construction so young people can afford to buy a home?
Hear, hear, hear. The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
Mr. Speaker, I wish that the Conservatives knew more about construction. It seems what they know about is obstruction. Mr. Speaker, if these Conservatives cared about building homes for young Canadians, they would pass the 2 bills that we have before the House right now. They would pass our Budget Implementation Act, and they would pass our Build Canada Homes Act, because those are the tools that are getting shovels in the ground right across Canada for the next generation of young Canadians who need affordable homes.
The honourable member for Langley Township, Fraser Heights.
Under this Liberal government, the Canadian dream of home ownership is rapidly fading for young people. CMHC reports that housing starts are actually going to be down over the next 3 years by up to 18% compared to last year. So why don't the Liberals just adopt the Conservative plan to eliminate GST on all new housing construction up to $1.3 million and help restore the dream of home ownership for young Canadians?
Yeah, right. That's the camper van.
The Honourable Secretary of State for Financial Institutions.
Mr. Speaker, thoughts and prayers for the community of Tumbler Ridge. That's a party that's not serious about housing. Their leader called middle-class housing shacks, co-op housing Soviet style. There's members on that side that mocked modular homes.
Wow.
And to cap it all off, that leader told his members not to advocate for housing programs in their ridings that would have helped their ridings. On this side of the House, we're serious about building housing. Budget 2025 is going to deliver housing like we've not seen built in generations. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable member for Langley Township, Fraser Heights.
Well, Mr. Speaker, that answer is completely unacceptable. The Canadian Home Owners Association, Builders Association, says that 5 years ago, new housing starts in the ownership market stood at 69%, the rest being in the rental market. Last year, that number had dropped down to 49%. So despite all the nice talk, clearly the Liberal plans are not helpful for prospective new buyers. So again, why don't they just adopt our plans and help restore the dream of homeownership once again for Canadians?
Well done. Great job, Jacob. Great job.
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
Speaker, our big focus is to build as many housing as possible. We're going to build that housing through Canada Build Homes. We're going to build that housing on federal lands, just like in my community in Ottawa Centre, where we're repurposing federal buildings, we're repurposing federal lands to build housing, and we will do that across the country. Some slogans is not going to cut it, as we see from the opposition. They need to stop obstructing. They need to part Bill C-20 so we can start building housing across this land.
The Honourable Member for Richmond Hill South.
The Canadian dream of home ownership is slipping away from young Canadians. The government's own housing agency says housing starts will fall for the next 3 years, going down as much as 18% by 2028, while prices keep going up. After years of Liberal policies that drove up costs and slowed down constructions, buyers can't buy and builders can't build. And the only solution the Liberals can come up with is to build a fourth housing bureaucracy. When will this government admit that Liberal rhetoric and bureaucracies don't build homes and finally scrap the GST on all new homes, incentivize building, and restore the dream of home ownership?
Honourable Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Housing and Infrastructure.
Well, Mr. Speaker, it's regrettable the member opposite is in support of Build Canada Homes. I was just in his riding, where we actually announced a project. And I spoke with the residents that are living in affordable housing there, and they talked about how important it was. So we know that with Budget 2025, We're working to accelerate construction. We're cutting delays. We're increasing permitting capacity. We're working with local governments to get more homes built. While we're doing that, they're voting against expanding mortgage rate criteria for young Canadians. They're voting against the first-time savings account, and they're voting against the GST credit for first-time homebuyers. Why?
The Honourable Member for Drummond. Mr. Speaker, next Tuesday, Quebec will attend a UNESCO conference and continue its efforts to protect cultural diversity from the hegemony of web giants. Quebec will join forces with European countries to ensure that the 2005 UNESCO Convention, which protects all cultures in the context of globalization, also applies to the digital world. But it's not a done deal, because since Quebec is not yet a country, Canada votes on our behalf. And last June, Canada did not vote in favour of adopting a binding protocol. This time, Mr. Speaker, will Canada reconsider? The Honourable Minister of Culture, Canadian Culture and Identity. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It goes without saying that my predecessor at the last meeting really did a good job. I don't have anything that I can reveal yet, but we're on a similar wavelength. The Honourable Member for Drummond. Well, you see, Mr. Speaker, Canada votes on behalf of Quebec at UNESCO, and last June, Canada did not vote in favour of a binding protocol to protect our cultural sovereignty from web giants. Worse still, the government then proceeded to scrap the digital services tax that would have forced the GAFAM group to pay a minimum of royalties that could have supported our culture and our media organizations. Next week, Canada can take a step in the right direction by supporting the principle of a protocol. The entire cultural industry and the government of Quebec are counting on that. Will Canada vote to protect our culture? A yes or a no, particularly yes, would be much better than the answer we just got, Mr. Speaker. The Honourable Minister. Mr. Speaker, if the member across the way really wanted to support artists and creators in Canada, he would vote yes, as he's telling us to do, but he would vote yes to our budget. The Honourable Member for Bellechasse et Saint-Chemin-Lévis. The Phoenix fiasco is back to haunt us. The Phoenix pay system deprived thousands of civil servants of their pay for weeks, for months. We all remember that. Today, there's the CureM software. The Liberals are creating a Phoenix fiasco for seniors, but on a larger scale, according to federal employees. This project was supposed to cost $1.7 billion. The bill has skyrocketed now up to $6.6 billion. 93% of employees give the project a failing grade, Mr. Speaker. Why do the Liberals insist on repeating the same IT mistakes, billion after billions of dollars, at the expense of retirees, Mr. Speaker? The Honourable Secretary of State for Seniors. We're modernizing a very old system. If we had not done anything or taken action, that would have been very problematic for seniors and their benefits. Currently, mistakes are being corrected and retroactive payments are guaranteed. If there are any individual cases, members across the way can give us their names and we will address those cases. The Honourable Member for Bellechasse, Les Échemins, Lévis. Well, that's a very embarrassing response, Mr. Speaker. There are retirees who've been waiting for their benefits for 9 months. It's shameful. Ministers are hiding the truth from Canadians. Ministers and public servants are being instructed not to mention the name of the CureM software. Why is the minister more interested in hiding her own incompetence than in helping our seniors receive their benefits on time? They really need those benefits, Mr. Speaker. The Honourable Government House Leader. Mr. Speaker, of course, seniors need to receive their pension. And we will, of course, ensure that. Over 7 million people are receiving their pension benefits through the software. The minister has been reassuring people every day, but the opposition just keeps asking the same question day after day, and we keep telling them the same thing. If they have any names, they should send them to us, or people can speak directly to Service Canada. The minister offered members across the way a briefing session. They should take the minister up on that and learn more about the CureM software.
The Honourable Member from Montmorency. Mr. Speaker, like across Quebec, families are spending more than 30% of their income to keep a roof over their heads. Vacancy rates are extremely low and housing insecurity continues to rise. Not knowing whether you'll be able to pay your rent or not causes stress and anxiety and constant pressure on the mental health of our young people and families. After 10 years of Liberal policies that have caused housing costs to skyrocket, how much longer will families have to live in uncertainty before this government takes real action to increase the housing supply and keep prices down? The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We're not taking Canadians for fools. They know that who is working for them in terms of affordability. Mr. Speaker, they don't have a plan or a solution, just rhetoric. On our end, we've already had agreements across Quebec. We had one with Nova Scotia as well, and Nunavut. We are going to accelerate building construction for affordable homes, and that is the mission of Build Canada Homes. We're going to do it with Canadian supplies, with Canadian workers. We're going to support our industry, build more homes. And the question is, are they going to really be there for their citizens? Thank you. The Honourable Member for Montmorency, Charlevoix. The Liberals like to pat each other on the back, but the CMHC now forecasted nearly 20% drop in housing starts by 2028, and that means fewer homes, even less supply, and even more pressure on prices. Meanwhile, 93% of our young people say that they're concerned about the housing situation in the country, and 86% of builders fear for the survival of their companies. The industry itself is talking about a lost decade for home ownership. If the Liberals are going to take inspiration from our ideas every week, why don't they adopt our plan to cut GST on all new homes to boost construction and give young people to have the dream of ownership again? Mr. Speaker, we know that young Canadians are going through tough times right now with the cost of living and the cost of rent. But the good news is Build Canada Homes is already seeing results. In the first 100 days, we've moved to action. We've established major agreements with some provinces, and these projects won't be able to move forward until the opposition supports our budget and C-15 and the bill on Build Canada Homes. We need their cooperation. If they're really here for their citizens, they need to vote with us. Thank you. The Honourable Member for Lévis-Lotbinière. Mr. Speaker, the Canadian dream of home ownership is fading for young Canadians. In its new report, the CMHC indicates that housing starts in 2028 could fall by as much as 18.1% over last year. The Canadian Home Builders Association says that current conditions will create a lost decade for home ownership in Canada. When will the government adopt our plan to stimulate residential construction by cutting the GST on all new homes so that our young people can once again hope to have their own homes? The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. With Build Canada Homes, we're responding to what Canadians really need. They want us to build homes that meet their needs and budgets. And all the member across the way is doing is talking about cutting GST on all homes. Just get rid of the tax, they say. I don't imagine how they could expect to govern if they're just obstructing. So, but we do have a real plan. It's called the Budget 2025, and we hope that they will approve it. Thank you.
The Honourable Member for New Westminster, Burnaby Mallardville.
Mr. Speaker, there's been an outpour of grief and support across this country following the Tumbler Ridge tragedy that occurred on Tuesday. This House has come together to honour the innocent lives lost. Can the Secretary of State for Combating Crime please reflect on the mass shooting in BC?
The Honourable Secretary of State.
Mr. Speaker, the nation is heartbroken by this tragic shooting in Tumbler Ridge, British Columbia. Our hearts are with the families and friends and loved ones of all the victims, and with the little girl who is currently fighting for her life. May we all keep her in our prayers. We are forever grateful for the speed and courage of the RCMP and all first responders on that day. Their actions and bravery have saved lives. Thank you.
The member for Kildonan and St. Paul.
Despite the Liberals signing on to $52 billion to create an EV supply chain in Canada, the vast majority of EVs bought here are not made here. And now, despite the massive government subsidies, the auto companies are recording multi-billion-dollar losses on EVs and abandoning or delaying EV projects. But the Liberals now are doubling down with their new $2.3 billion EV subsidy, where Canadian workers will be forced to subsidize the purchase of foreign-made EVs, including EVs made in the United States. At a time like this, Mr. Speaker, it's unconscionable. Will the Liberals reverse course and stop Canadian tax dollars from funding the American-made EVs?
The Honourable Minister of Industry.
Of course, we believe in affordability, and we believe that Canadians can have access to EV incentives up to $5,000 for a car up to $50,000, and also for Canadian EVs, because obviously we believe that the future of the industry is towards electrification. Recently, there were more EV sales in Europe than gas combustion cars.
Right.
And at the same time, we know that in the next 5 years, 40% of all the cars worldwide will be electrified. So our plan is to make sure that we bring our industry at the forefront of innovation, and that good jobs are created here.
The honourable member for Kildonan and St. Paul.
Mr. Speaker, the bottom line is the American tariffs have cost 5,000 jobs in Canada's auto sector and tens of thousands more jobs in the manufacturing sector across the board. And meanwhile, the Liberals created a $2.3 billion taxpayer-funded program that will subsidize the purchase of American-made EVs to the direct benefit of the American auto sector when they're trying to destroy our auto sector. This is wrong, and the minister can easily rectify this. Will she do that? Honourable Ministre.
The Honourable Minister.
I have a lot of time for my colleague, a lot of respect for her, but she also knows that our auto industry is facing obviously important challenges, but it took months for the Conservatives to actually denounce the U.S. tariffs on auto. And we know that the entire sector is integrated within North America, Canada, U.S., Mexico. Now, when she's talking about EVs made in the U.S., she has to take into account, and Conservatives need to take into account, that Canadian auto parts are part of these EVs. Is she going after the Canadian auto parts workers all across Ontario? That's my question.
The honourable member for Dufferin.
Oh, Melanie.
On Tuesday afternoon and Tuesday evening, I was in Toronto with the Unifor Skilled Trades Council conference. Those are the men and women that actually work in our auto plants to make sure the machinery and equipment works. And when I told them that their tax dollars were going to go to subsidize the purchase of American EVs, they were outraged and disgusted. Actually, they couldn't believe it was happening. So it's simple. Why would Canadian tax dollars be going to subsidize American EVs when Donald Trump is trying to kill our auto industry? Will they show they care about auto workers by canceling the rebates for American EVs?
The Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, finally my colleague met with the Unifor workers.
Yeah.
It took him months to do that. We've been in contact with Unifor since the get-go, before even U.S. tariffs were imposed. We've been in contact with them to make sure that we would be working together as one Team Canada, because it took also months for the Conservatives to actually denounce the U.S. tariffs on our auto workers. We're there with the industry, from industry, businesses to auto workers, unions. Everybody's in favor of the auto strategy, including Premier Ford. Why are they?
The honourable member for Dufferin-Caledon.
I have met with auto workers for the past 2 years. It's how we came up with our policy to take the HST off of all Canadian autos. It's actually the union workers' idea. What isn't their idea is to give their tax dollars to Donald Trump's America to build American vehicles. And these Liberals will not answer this question.
Well, speaking of America, because it's a big thing going on right now, I figured I might as... Jesus Christ, what's going on here? I figured I might as well replay this video, because it is big news, if you have not heard.
200 American troops are headed to Nigeria to help stop the killing of Christians by Islamist militants. President Trump promised to protect Christians and others under persecution and execution there last year, when he designated Nigeria a country of particular concern over the attacks and mass killings and kidnappings. Earlier this week, Congressman Riley Moore was in focus.
Right now, the folks that I am talking to on the ground have described what's happening in the Middle Belt in the north of Nigeria right now in the last 10 days as a bloodbath. It's just wanton death and murder and destruction that continues. But working with the administration, we are making steps in the right direction to address this persecution. The president is very singularly focused on addressing this.
And it is in the Faulkner Focus, and we continue our coverage. Senior foreign correspondent Jillian Turner. Jillian.
Good morning to you, Harris. President Trump is accusing Nigeria's government of complete and total failure to protect its own citizens from terrorist attacks. So now the Pentagon is deploying, as you mentioned, U.S. service members in the hopes that those troops can help Nigeria's military to help its own people. There are 200 troops, as you mentioned, who are going to be deployed to Nigeria. They are going to work hand in glove with a very small U.S. footprint already there on the ground. They are focused on the fight against Islamist terror groups, Boko Haram and ISIS. Here's the president last week, Harris.
When Christians come under attack, they know they're going to be attacked violently and viciously by President Trump. I know it's not a nice thing to say, but that's the way it is.
Nigerians have been hit by a series of deadly attacks in 2026 so far. Militants regularly raiding markets, villages, churches, schools all across the country. More than 240 people have been killed so far. This U.S. troop deployment follows, as you mentioned, the designation of Nigeria as a country of concern in October. Back then, President Trump cited the killing of 3,100 Christians known last year, as well as joint U.S.-Nigerian strikes on terror targets on Christmas Day. The U.S. envoy for religious freedom says that terror groups are actually getting a helping hand, unfortunately. Take a listen.
Nigeria is now the deadliest place on the planet to be a Christian. At the same time, the Nigerian government is seeking and receiving support from countries I previously named: China, Russia, Turkey, and Saudi Arabia. I wonder why.
It's really interesting, Harris, to look at the demographics of African nations writ large, because nearly half of the entire continent today actually identifies as Christian. This is a huge demographic change from 50 years ago, 100 years ago. It was less than 9% of people in the country. This incredibly swift and transformational change, I guess, is coming with a huge cost. Harris?
Well, and for the first time, there have been studies, Pew among them, that have looked at the size and scope of Christianity around the globe. And by numbers, it is now outnumbering other religions on the planet. So what you're watching is where that's happening.
So that is pretty much what's going on right now. That is the only video they've uploaded so far. If I get any more updates, I will be sure to show it. But let's head back to Parliament.
Speaker, after months of pressure from Conservatives, this government is finally slamming the brakes on its ideological electric vehicle mandate. But their new EV rebate scheme won't protect Canadian auto workers. It's just going to subsidize Tesla and send taxpayer money straight across the border. The government's gone from elbows up to selling out. They're driving other countries' economies forward, all while leaving Canadian workers in the dust. This Liberal government's policies are eroding our domestic vehicle manufacturing sector and the livelihoods of Canadian workers. When will they finally get behind the wheel for Canada instead of selling out to Donald Trump and Elon Musk?
Honorable Minister.
Honorable Minister.
Speaker, what the Conservatives need to understand right now is industry needs predictability and clarity. At a time where, indeed, there's a revision of the USMCA. We were able to provide that. And by providing that, now we're having conversation with German automakers, with Korean automakers, with Chinese automakers that want to invest in Canada and create good jobs. Why are they fundamentally against what the market is saying, which is this is a good plan and Canada is a great destination to invest?
Hear, hear. The honourable member for Essex.
Speaker, Essex Windsor's auto sector isn't just assembly lines. It's mold makers, tool shops, part suppliers, and automation firms. The Liberals promise to protect their jobs, yet they're handing out money to American EV companies, importing Chinese EVs, and costing thousands of families their livelihoods. EV policy was meant to protect workers. So will the Liberals stop forcing Canadian workers to subsidize foreign-made vehicles and remove the GST on new Canadian-made vehicles.
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
The Industry Minister, the Prime Minister, every minister, this entire caucus is devoted to ensuring the well-being and future of the Canadian auto sector and workers, of course. Mr. Speaker, I invite workers, I invite Conservatives to support this government, to continue to ensure that measures are put in place to ensure the future well-being of that sector.
The Honourable Member for Hamilton East Stony Creek.
Canadian taxpayers should not be subsidizing American EVs when the U.S. trade conflict has already cost 5,000 Canadian auto manufacturing jobs and 37,000 since this Prime Minister took office. He needs to stop this insult to Hamilton auto workers and work with us to put Canadian auto jobs first. This is a time where the Canadian auto sector is looking for unity and action to stand up to Donald Trump. So will the Liberals join us and support our motion to remove the GST on new Canadian-made vehicles?
Yes.
The Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, of course, if the Conservatives knew a lot about the auto strategy, they would know that we're already supporting the Canadian-made auto sector and the Canadian-made vehicles. That will be for the Dodge Charger, that will be for the Pacifica, and we are convinced that there will be more because we will have more investment in the sector. But they've been asking the same question. I guess that their leader gave them a sheet to read. But fundamentally, what they need to remember is the Canadians are in favor of this because the entire sector is in favor of this. Yeah?
The Honourable Member for Hull Elmer. Mr. Speaker. A deep wave of sorrow is hitting our country, particularly in Kitigan, ZB, like the member for Pontiac described very eloquently earlier today. 2 young lives were cut short far too soon, leaving their loved ones and their entire community in mourning. Can the Secretary of State for Nature share her thoughts on this tragic incident in Quebec? Thank you. The Honourable Secretary of State. Mr. Speaker, it's already with a very heavy heart that I rise today to address this, my sincerest condolences to the family and loved ones of the victims of Kitigan ZB who are also in Ajnabig. A tragedy like this one, which adds to this already dark week, well, it is inexplicable. Using children as weapons to hurt others is unexplainable, and I am fully supporting this community and for everyone who is behind them, and all of my colleagues are as well. And with all of those who will have to intervene with this family and their loved ones, we have first responders, the healthcare community. It's really hard to understand the situation, so I'd like you to know that my thoughts are with you. Thank you.
The Honourable Member for Abbotsford South Langley.
Mr. Speaker, British Columbia is facing a public safety crisis. Extortion is now at record highs, and my community members are living in constant fear. Abbotsford Police have been clear. They are calling on elected officials to act urgently and work across party lines to confront these growing threats. Canadian safety matter now. Will the Liberals act today, vote for our Conservative plan, supported by the BC NDP Premier, to ensure those convicted of serious crimes cannot exploit our refugee system in order to stay in Canada?
Good question.
The Honourable Secretary of State for International Development.
Mr. Speaker, the Premier of the province, the Mayor of Abbotsford, the Police Chief of Abbotsford have all said, please go across party lines get C2 pass, get C12 pass, get C14. I used to think that maybe it's obstruction that they're doing, but really, I think they don't even read the bills. Because if they read the bills, they would know it would be very impactful to pass them, legislate them, and get the tools to the police that need them right away. Thank you.
The honourable member for Saskatoon West.
Apparently that minister wasn't around on Tuesday. Mr. Speaker, extortion is real, and newcomers to Canada are the ones that suffer. Here's an example of an extortion letter from Abbotsford. Warning, we are Indian gang members. We want our share from your businesses like protection money. We asking only $2 million in cash. We have links all over. Do not ignore us. It will affect you really bad. We gave you 1 month to decide. Threats like this one are followed by arson, shootings, and murder. And if caught, they claim refugee status. Will this government support our motion to stop people charged with serious crimes from claiming refugee status in order to avoid justice?
The Honourable Secretary of State for Combating Crime.
Mr. Speaker, extortion is real, and we're taking it very seriously. That's why back in June, we tabled lawful access measures in Bill C2. Those measures would make it possible for police to quickly investigate these types of crimes and child predator crimes as well, Mr. Speaker. It's important for us to give law enforcement the tools that they need to keep up with criminals. And the motion that's been brought forward by the Conservatives is basically moot. And C12, Mr. Speaker, all of the asylum cases that they're referring to would not be allowed.
The honourable member for Calgary Nose Hill.
Well, contrary to their claims today, everything is not fine, and the Liberal status quo is putting lives in danger. The Liberals, if what they're saying today is true, should have no problem supporting our motion that would stop non-citizen extortionists who shoot up homes in Surrey and in Brampton from filing bogus refugee claims or getting lenient sentences to dodge removal. Why are the Liberals so determined to keep allowing non-citizen extortionists to break the law and stay here?
The Honourable Secretary of State.
Mr. Speaker, the same measures that I referred to on asylum that are in C12 currently in the Senate were originally presented in this House in C2 back in June. Had the Conservatives not obstructed at that time and cooperated with us, those asylum cases that the member is referring to would not be allowed. But good news, Mr. Speaker, that once that Bill C12 in the Senate passes, the claims that have been made will be cancelled, Mr. Speaker.
The honourable member for Davenport.
Mr. Speaker, great news. We've already seen Build Canada Homes move quickly from promise to progress, delivering real results for Canadians. A great example, Dunn House Phase 2, located in Toronto's Parkdale community, which will provide supportive housing for at-risk seniors. Can the Minister of Jobs and Families, on behalf of the Minister of Housing and Infrastructure, update this House on how this project reflects the government's approach to accelerating affordable housing across the country?
The Honourable Minister of Jobs and Housing.
I've heard the member from Davenport over the years, and she is a tireless advocate for seniors and housing across Canada. Our government is working to ensure that seniors can age in place with dignity and the supports they need. Indeed, Dunn House provides rent geared to income units for at-risk seniors in Toronto, which helps them live safely and independently. The Conservatives are asking how many. Well, over the past month alone, we've created 7,500 new homes just in the last month in Nova Scotia, in Quebec, in Ontario. Why are they standing in the way of this program?
The honourable member for Foothills.
Canadian farmers are worried that an announcement by Beijing today means there is no deal to reduce tariffs on canola. On January 16th, the Prime Minister said he's engaged in a new strategic partnership with the People's Republic of China.
It's gonna happen. They're not gonna remove the tariffs. Just watch.
Reduce tariffs on Canadian canola seed by a combined rate of about 15%. Today, Reuters said Beijing has delayed a decision on canola tariffs until March 9th. No decision means no deal. Why did the Prime Minister mislead Canadian farmers about having a deal to reduce canola tariffs for Canadian farmers?
Mark Carney sold us out to China, like I said months ago.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm certainly glad that the opposition is now starting to talk about canola. Mr. Speaker, we went for how long since we returned from China? I never heard a word about canola. The leader of the opposition has canola in his new riding. We're working hard. We'll continue to work hard. The lines of communication are open with China, and we'll continue to work with China, and we'll continue to work with every trading partner, Mr. Speaker. I met with the canola farmers last week in Ottawa, and we had a really good meeting, Mr. Speaker, and we'll continue to work with China and the contacts that we have there. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable member for Courtenay Alberni.
Mr. Speaker, Canada is in a mental health crisis, and young people are being hit hardest. Yet counselling, therapy and treatment still depend on workplace benefits or the ability to pay in a two-tier system. The PBO confirmed that bringing mental health care under the Canada Health Act and achieving parity with physical health care through Bill C-201 would cost just 1.5% of total public health spending. Will the minister act now and bring mental health care under the Canada Health Act, yes or no?
Hear, hear.
L'honorable ministre de la
The Honourable Minister of Health. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to thank my colleague for his question. And he knows very well that the mental health of Canadians is at the heart of our concerns. Health services, including mental health, are under provincial jurisdiction. I work closely with my provincial...
All right. That is going to do it for today's question period. If there's a vote, I am not sticking around. If it's a conservative motion, it'll get shut down anyway. Thank you for joining on YouTube, Rumble, and Kick. Oh God, we have Elizabeth May.
And we've taken steps at the federal level for federal elections to deal with the threat of foreign interference. So my question to the Honourable Minister is there and what is being done now to consider the threat of foreign interference to provincial referenda that could break up this country when we know people in the White House are encouraging separatism? What are we doing to prepare?
Oh my God. Okay, she had me in the first half. I was like, okay, wait, foreign interference. This is a good thing. She's shutting it down. She wants something done about it. But then she just made it Trump, 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 Trump. I fucking can't. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day or night, depending on where you are from. Adios, everyone.
At any level, and transnational repression at any level of our democracy is absolutely unacceptable. We, of course, have taken careful note of the recommendations of the Hague Committee.